Looks like it's a pretty serious accident here, so try and stay off of 94 in Waukesha County at this point because we've got nasty delays through that area. Connie?
All right, thanks, Debbie. We'll check in just a couple of minutes on that freeway closure. In the meantime, the DNC wrapping up. Vice President Kamala Harris makes history, becoming the first black woman and South Asian person to accept her party's nomination for President of the United States. A key issue Vice President Harris made sure to push at the DNC last night, her promise to restore abortion access.
It's one of the biggest platforms she's tackled as vice president, launching her nationwide reproductive freedom tour in Wisconsin. I was assigned to cover that 8 months ago, on the 51st anniversary of Roe v. Wade. And just last night, I was on the floor when she spoke on opponents' views.
Simply put, they are out of their minds.
A key issue Kamala Harris wants front and center now that she is the official Democratic presidential nominee. Reporting at the DNC in Chicago, Julia Fellow, WTMJ News.
Former President Trump was blasting Harris on Truth Social during her speech last night. In a string of posts, he said, as Vice President Harris had 3.5 years and has done nothing but harm. He later went on Fox News and claimed Harris didn't talk about crime or how 70% of our people are living in poverty. Now that the DNC is over, the campaign gets underway in earnest.
2 politicians are traveling to Wisconsin in the coming days to campaign for Vice President Harris and Governor Walz. On Friday, former Iowa Governor Tom Vilsack will visit Madison to tour a local union training facility and make a stop in New Glarus. On Saturday, he'll visit Stoughton, Baraboo, and La Crosse. Next week, U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren will tour the state with a focus on the economy and taxes for working families. On Monday, she'll travel to Grafton, Manitowoc, and Door County. On Tuesday, she'll make stops in Green Bay, Appleton, and Oshkosh. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Deadly stabbing in Milwaukee Thursday. Milwaukee police say a 27-year-old victim was stabbed near 83rd and Billard Avenue just after 5:30 p.m. Victim died at the scene. Police seeking unknown suspects. In Iowa, they're testing a vaccine to protect dairy cattle from bird flu. National Animal Disease Center biologist Tavis Anderson says they're working to reduce the risk the virus will become widespread in people.
Right now, it's still an animal health problem. And this is just really bad news for dairy farmers in the United States.
Researchers at the National Animal Disease Center testing an RNA vaccine against the H5N1 bird flu virus. Striking Canadian rail workers being sent back to work today after an order from the government. And Canadian National Railway workers were part of a work stoppage after labor contract negotiations broke down. The Canadian Industrial Relations Board moved to end the stoppage. Another stoppage at the Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railroad is still ongoing. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 302 points. The Nasdaq up 257. The S&P 500 is up 56. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:05.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car's not one of them. That national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it. And they're right here to handle any issues.
But the car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adamm.com.
Our southern border is wide open, allowing drugs, gangs, and criminals to flood into our communities. We need to get tough. But Senator Tammy Baldwin supported amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants, including convicted criminals. Like an illegal immigrant with multiple DUI charges. He should have been deported. Instead, he stayed and drove drunk yet again and killed a Wisconsin father of 3. And Baldwin voted 9 times to support sanctuary cities that protect dangerous illegal immigrant criminals and release them back onto the streets. Call Senator Tammy Baldwin, 608-264-5338. Urge her to support S-4689, the Justice for Jocelyn Act. No amnesty for illegal immigrants, especially criminals. Vote to finally secure the border. Paid for by One Nation, www.onenationamerica.org.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Packers wrap up the preseason tomorrow afternoon, squaring off against the Ravens at Lambeau. Cardinals sealed a series win over the Brewers following a 3-0 victory from Busch Stadium. Team opens a 3-game set against the Athletics at Oakland Coliseum tonight. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic, a freeway closure. Let's get right to Debbie Lozica.
All right, Connie. Yeah, westbound 94. There was an accident that happened just west of Highway 18. They have closed the freeway down at Highway 18. You'll be diverted off there, and you'll need to use that to get to Redford Boulevard or Highway F and get back onto the freeway that way to continue your ride. Eastbound is also closed at Redford Boulevard, so you will be diverted off at Redford. Take Highway 18 this way. You have to go all the way to Moreland Road to get back onto the freeway. Either way, we've got big, huge delays. Backups basically stretching all the way back past Moreland Road on the westbound side. Eastbound is backing up from Highway T all the way to Redford Boulevard. Again, it's a very serious accident that happened there, so we've got the freeway closed in each direction between Redford Boulevard and Highway 18. I'm Debbie Lozica with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny and 80 today. Overnight low tonight 63. Partly cloudy, warm and humid. Slight chance of showers or storms tomorrow night. High of 83. Sunny, warm and humid. Maybe a pop-up shower Sunday. A high of 85. Monday and Tuesday we've got sunny skies. Hot and humid conditions. High Monday 90. Tuesday 86. Madison right now 64. Green Bay checking in at 65 and 65 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Sighting Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
I always say yes, especially this week, right? We have the big DNC in Chicago. All right, sort of a special edition of the Political Power Hour on this Friday. Our left-leaning friend, Josie Pecky's on assignment. Don't even know what that means, but that's what I'm going to say. So joining me on the phone is our other strategist, Republican strategist, Bill McCoshy. Good morning, Bill.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
I am good. So I watched almost all of the speeches last night, and I sampled out throughout the week. I want to spend some time talking about what the real takeaways are from this second of two political conventions, obviously the RNC in Milwaukee, which we both covered. What was your overall perspective on what happened in Chicago this week?
So I can tell you, Monday through Wednesday, there was a vibe down there for sure, and there was incredible energy, and it kept building each night. The Obamas obviously blew the roof off on Tuesday night, and then Coach Walz on Wednesday night. I think people were ready to take the battlefield for him after his speech. So Thursday there was a lot of anticipation, and there was this notion that there was going to be a special guest, whether it was Beyonce or Taylor Swift, and even Mitt Romney and George W. Bush's name came up throughout
right.
the day. But that was all leading up to Kamala Harris's acceptance speech. And so, I was getting a little nervous about the energy I saw and how Democrats were uniting. And honestly, I was surprised by Harris's speech last night. It was long on style and short on substance. And I don't think it met the moment. I think I think your listeners will agree that I try and be fair on this, but it didn't. She spent more time talking about the John Lewis Voting Rights Act than she did about how people are going to pay for gas, groceries, rent, or their mortgage. And I just don't think that's what voters are thinking about right now is the voting, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. I think they are trying to figure out how to manage their family budget and try and get ahead. And I don't think she spent enough time on that. I think the flowery lack of substance is going to catch up with her. And so I'm not sure they're going to get the big bounce out of this that they had thought they would throughout the week. And I think it's good for for Donald Trump. And I'll say this: the real race starts today. There's 75 days to go, and we'll see how this all shakes out.
So I've said to people all week that these are parties for the parties themselves and the supporters, the base, right? Democrats in Chicago, Republicans here in Milwaukee. But to me, what mattered was any messaging that goes to the independent voters, maybe some Republicans who want to cross over because they don't like Donald Trump, whatever that group is that hasn't maybe made up their mind or is thinking about doing something different than they traditionally do. I don't know that I heard a message from any of the speakers that said to an independent voter or someone who doesn't like Trump and wants to move to the other side for at least one election. I didn't see a message that would appeal to them. Did you see something different or hear something different than I did?
No, I didn't. And unfortunately, Joe can't be with us this week. Well, he and I will have this debate with you next week. But I didn't see a reach to the middle. I saw a let's unite the base, let's fire up the base, and then we'll try and get the middle by having as little specifics about policy as possible. And I just don't think that's possible. I think at the end of the day, yeah, a vibe is going to have some impact. I don't know if that's a point or a point and a half, but voters want to know what you're going to do. And the reality is, Kamala Harris has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years where all of this has occurred. And in many cases, she was the deciding vote, whether it was on the Inflation Reduction Act or 2 massive budget spending bills. So she owns a lot of this. And she didn't acknowledge that last night in any way, shape, or form. And many of the speakers this week tried to whitewash it completely, like Joe Biden didn't exist. Well, he's still the president of the United States. So I'm hopeful, Steve, that first debate will be that we'll have a record number of viewers, and we'll talk about specifics. I think that's what voters deserve. I think that's what they want. I think people are ready to move forward. And listen, if Harris did one thing right, I think her tone was right last night. I think people are ready to move beyond the nasty, toxic politics and have. Agree to disagree like Joe and I do every Friday with you. And I think that's the style of politics that's going to win over the next 75 days.
A's Bill McCoshen, he was all over the place this week doing media like crazy. We'll hear what else Bill has on his mind. It's the Zepeculous Political Power Hour on this Friday right here on 620 WTMJ.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
I-94, eastbound. A semi just came to a screeching stop in the center lane. I think he's broken down right there.
Call me, Debbie Loziga, at the Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line at 414-238-9329.
On southbound I-94, right around Drexel Avenue, there's a wreck in the left lane, and the left lane is blocked.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it? Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I run into people all the time and say, you went to Advent. How did they change your life? And I say, it's this simple. First of all, I went in for a short visit at one of their great facilities, 30-minute visit, and they answered all my questions. And everybody's different problems, different solutions. But they walked me through this stuff, and they said, here's what we can do. We can open up your sinuses and nasal passages and solve your snoring problems. We can give you a better night's sleep without all the equipment that a lot of people sort of resort to. They do those things as well, but there are other alternatives, and for all of the people who are having these problems, which is a lot of people apparently, because people come up to me all the time, there's things you can do. Go to Advent, one of the great facilities, and figure out your sleeping problems. They'll throw in a simple sleep study that kind of complement what they see in their time with you. And if you struggle with restless nights like I used to, and that's a partner thing as well. If somebody's in the same bed with you, they're going to suffer through all this with you. Take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
For love of the game.
But there's nothing like being selected to the Olympic team.
And love of their country.
Championship of that level, gold medal, means more.
Tune into Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Inside stories from Bucks stars on the agony and triumph of competing to win it all at the Olympics. It's Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
Bill McCoshen's spending some time with me on a Friday Political Power Hour. Joe Zabecki will be back next week. He's officially on assignment, probably having some fun after the big party in Chicago this week. Bill, we're going to spend a lot of time in the next few weeks talking about polling numbers. And the next benchmark for me is going to be the debates. I think it's September 10th, and I think that's a Tuesday night. Between now and then, it's all about polling and whatever bump we'll see for Democrats and whatever the reality is in this race. Without that data available right now, where do you think this race is at?
I think it's dead even. It certainly is in Wisconsin. There's 7 states in play. To Harris's credit, she's put more states in play than Biden had. I mean, he had a very, very narrow path. He had to win Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin in order to have any chance of winning. I think even that path was narrowing after July 19th, the end of the RNC in Milwaukee. She's created some other options for sure. And last night you sort of saw that. She focused on Arizona heavily with her speakers, whether it was Ruben Gallego or the astronaut Senator Gabby Giffords. You know, she was focusing on Arizona, and then she closed with the governor of North Carolina, which is also really wasn't in play for Joe Biden. So I think it's roughly tied. My guess is Marquette will have a new poll out next week. That's been their history, to have a statewide poll shortly after the primary. This is one of those odd years where a national convention actually came after our primary. Usually both of those are concluded before the primary. So I expect it to be close. The betting markets have now moved towards Trump since Harris started to lay out some of her specific economic policies last Friday. But the polling is about the same. Some polls have Trump up a point or two nationally. Some have him down 2 or 3 nationally, and swing states are the same. So it's going to be a battle the rest of the way.
We always spend time on the Friday program talking about the trends in the race or the issues that matter. And we've spent so much time on talking about the economy or border policy / immigration, or even some of the international stuff, the questions about Ukraine and certainly the war in the Middle East. At this moment in this race, what do you think is paramount in voters of either persuasion's minds?
Less personal attacks, more specifics on policy. And by policy, I mean the economy. Voters want to know how are either of these candidates going to get this economy on track? Number one. Number two, how are they going to close the border and slow down this illegal immigration we've seen over the last 4 years? Joe would tell you if he was on that abortion is a big issue, and it is for certain voters, and it's certainly a higher priority for Democrats than it is for independents or for Republicans. But I don't think it's going to be quite as powerful as it was for Democrats in 2022.
My Democratic friends point to the big rally in Wisconsin on Tuesday. 18,000 people showed up at the Fiserv Forum. And the candidates actually came up from Chicago, left the DNC to talk to Wisconsinites and other people who attended about the issues in this race. What do you see as the value of that? I mean, it certainly points to the power of Wisconsin in this race.
Yeah, no question about it. And Governor Thompson and I were on with some of Trump's strategists last Friday, and I can tell you that I think Trump will be here at least 4 times over the next 75 days, possibly as many as 6. And I think J.D. Vance will be here once a week. And I would expect the same from both Tim Walz and from Kamala Harris. These 10 electoral votes could decide the race. And we say that almost every cycle. And it probably is more true today than ever before.
One of the things that was unique about this Democratic National Convention is the presence of Republican voices. We had a couple of them last night. Adam Kinzinger, who was involved in the debates, congressional debates and review of the conduct of January 6th from a Republican perspective, one of a couple along with Liz Cheney. His comments, what'd you make of those?
I got asked about this last night as well. Adam Kinzinger and Donald Trump have had a running feud for the last 4 or 5 years, and I don't think that's a surprise to anyone that he would have shown up last night. Let's not forget, he was a congressman from Illinois, a little bit north of Chicago. He and Trump have not gotten along. They've had very public battles. I don't think those battles have been good for the party. I don't think they've necessarily helped either Kinzinger or Trump either. But I don't think he moved the needle at all last night. I guess he was there to sort of appeal to the middle, the center. I'm not sure he did that. And disaffected Republicans, if there are Republicans out there, you may be included on that list, Steve, that can't get themselves to vote for Donald Trump. I don't think Adam Kinzinger, would have convinced you last night to vote for Kamala Harris.
So what do those voters do? I mean, they have a choice, right? They can show up at the polling place or vote early and ignore the race. They can write somebody in. I've done that a couple of times. They can vote for the other side. If they're a Republican, they can vote for Kamala Harris. But the number or percentage of those people have a big say in what happens ultimately in this race, swing states or nationally. Right now, how would you gauge that number? Where would that be at, do you think?
It's a few percent, right, which could be decisive. And I think I'm hoping that the next 75 days are very clear on the differences on policy so that a disaffected Republican says, I might not like Donald Trump personally, but he's the only choice here because her policies will take this country in the wrong direction. Let's not forget, 68% of Americans today think the country's on a wrong track, and she's the number 2. She's the co-pilot on this plane right now. So that's why I'm encouraging Trump and his team to stay focused on policy. I think we saw some good signs last night when he and Governor Brian Kemp from Georgia mended fences publicly. That was really important for the Trump campaign. I think we're going to see a little bit more of that today. It appears that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. may endorse Donald Trump, and that could be worth a couple points as well. It's not going to be worth 5 or 6 or 8 points, but 2 or 3 could be the difference. So every little bit helps. So I think the more we keep this thing on the rails policy-wise, the better off we're going to be.
I'm going to ask about the RFK thing because I think it's more of a muted mixed message than anything else. We'll continue the conversation. Bill McCoshen on a Zepeculous Friday on the Political Power Hour Origin Edition. Happens every Friday right here on 620 WTMJ.
It's like playing baseball in the house.
Mom, Dad broke the window.
Without the risk of...
Again.
That. Every Thursday at 8:40, play virtual baseball on Wisconsin's Morning News. Step up to the virtual plate and test your mettle against the best.
Swing and a drive to right.
It's virtual baseball, presented by Signing Unlimited. Only played here on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. Yes, we purchased a new Heiser vehicle, brand new 2024 Chevy Trailblazer. Love it. Great gas mileage, all the great safety and security features. We got all the stuff that my wife Kathy wanted on it. And it has all the protections built in, right? 3-year, 36,000 bumper to bumper, 5 years, 60,000 mile powertrain warranty. You can even extend all of those things if you'd like. They have the great program, Safe and Sound, vehicle exchange, all available, by the way, at their website, heiser.com, or at 5 great locations. Wanted to talk about some other things. They have an end-of-summer sizzling savings program going on right now, all month long. All of their 5 service departments, 2 body shops, accepting new customers. You can take advantage of all the hot deals, get into the vehicle of your dreams. All of their vehicles, by the way, are available for purchase today or tonight or tomorrow. By the time we figured our purchase out, our Chevy Trailblazer, the actual process only took about a day and a half. They're very efficient. They can answer all your questions. They can match your wants in a vehicle to their available inventory. That's the cool thing. They are hands down the best in customer service and have been for decades. That's why they can say every day, and I say it all the time, today's your day.
IndyCar returns to the Milwaukee Mile at Wisconsin State Fair Park this Labor Day weekend, August 30th through September 1st. The Hy-Vee Milwaukee Mile 250s weekend features NTT IndyCar Series races on both Saturday and Sunday. Don't miss the fun in the free fan zone all weekend long, including live entertainment at the Bank 59 Amphitheater with headliners including Ian Munsick and Quiet Riot. Get your tickets now at wistatefair.com and experience Hy-Vee Milwaukee Mile 250s weekend, August 30th through September 1st.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Loyal Family Renovations, and Trees on the Move. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Trees on the Move's field clearing sale is on now with savings up to 75%. 20 to 30-foot maples, elms, oaks, honey locust, and more. 12 to 18-foot spruce, arborvitae, and junipers are on sale too. Trees on the Move has to clear 40 acres, and this is your chance to buy big and save big. These trees are great for newer existing homes, landscape projects, or replacing trees lost to disease or storm damage. Trees on the Move's field clearing sale, Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, Saturday 9 to 4, or see treesonthemove.com.
Rocking it hard on a Friday. Just Bill and Steve today. Joe's on hiatus or on assignment, as they like to say. We don't know what he's up to, but he's probably doing something fun. He had a big week in Chicago this week and working hard.
Is this the joyless show without Joe?
It's interesting. It's interesting that you mentioned that because I'm reading the text line. Here we got this one much better without. And they made a bad comment about Joe, and then the other ones we're missing Joe. So I mean, it's a little of both. So I guess that's the wheelhouse of where we want to be at.
Oh, well, you and I miss him for sure.
He's always
good at what he does.
Yeah, and it's fun to talk.
Yeah.
The three of us always have a good time on Friday. Not that we're having fun today. All right, so a couple quick ones here. The RFK thing supposed to drop out of the race today. What I can tell from reading and looking at some of the data on this, it's more of a muted mixed message. I don't know that he's going to impact either side more than the other. Do you see it that way, or you see it differently?
Well, the most recent polling shows that his supporters are more likely to support Trump, so I think it's going to be a net positive for Trump. But I don't think it's 3 or 4 points. It's probably 1.5 or 2 points, and that could be enough to swing certain states. I forget what his number, RFK Jr.'s number was on the last Marquette poll. I think it was around 4 or 5.
Yeah, sounds
right.
So
if 2/3 of those people come to Donald Trump, that probably adds a point and a half to Trump. And Trump had a 1-point lead with registered voters. He was down 1 with likely voters. So, 1.5 points could be the difference. So I think let's see what they both say today. I believe the schedule is RFK Jr. is going to have a press conference himself, and then the two are supposed to meet up later in Arizona. So, I'm anxious to hear how the deal came together and what it means and what that means for the next 75 days for sure. But I think for your listeners, the key is the general election really started today. The conventions are over. The sugar highs for both. I mean, we left Milwaukee on July 19th thinking this thing was in the bag. There was no way Trump could lose. 3 days later, Joe Biden's no longer the candidate for the Democrats, and all the polling shifted over the next month. And Democrats, I think, had a strong convention, having been there all 4 nights, and probably will get a little bit of a bounce, but maybe not as much as they had hoped for. And then things will level off, and hopefully this thing gets serious.
He is Bill McCoshen. I am Steve Scaffidi, host of Political Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 9 to 10 here on WTMJ. We got a lot more to get to in the second half hour. We got the 2-minute junk truck. We've got the grab bag, all that fun coming up in the next half hour on 620 WTMJ. We got the great Connie Weber with the local news update. Before we get to any of that, the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry. Preston, an ecstatic crowd at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago describing nominee Kamala Harris as historic, joyful, and the embodiment of hope. On stage, she said she hoped to bring Americans together.
The path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys.
73 days until the election. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, today it's time for the Federal Reserve to begin cutting interest rate, he says, to help the economy. He gave a speech at the Fed conference in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The Dow now up more than 400 points.
The time has come for policy to adjust. The direction of travel is clear, and the timing and pace of rate cuts will depend on incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Ukraine, hoping to mediate peace talks between Russia. He visited Moscow last week. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:31, a large issue causing freeway closures on I-94 this morning.
94 westbound is closed right now due to a serious crash. Riders will be taken off the freeway at Highway 18, which then they can take that to Highway F and rejoin the freeway there. You can expect extensive delays in both directions until everything's been reopened. Debbie Lazaga, WTMJ News.
Mayor of Franklin, who also serves as a lieutenant with the Waterford Police Department, says he's been suspended from the department pending an investigation, but John Nelson says he doesn't know why. He tells the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel he's been on suspension since May 6th, along with another lieutenant. Other officers have also been under investigation in Waterford recently. One left the force after a complaint of untruthfulness, another on administrative leave. The Wauwatosa School District, the latest in southeast Wisconsin to navigate a financial mess. Chief Financial Officer Scott Ecker says the district overspent roughly $8 million more than reported in the 23-24 budget. He also found a more than $4 million error in the 24-25 budget. Findings come as Wauwatosa residents prepare to vote on a pair of school referendums that would increase taxes more than $800 a year for the average homeowner. Time for some news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow up 416 points at 41,129. The Nasdaq is up 285 points at 17,904. The S&P 500 up 62 at 5,633. Get an honest opinion of where you are financially and where you're headed. Work with the fee-only fiduciary. Start at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. That freeway closure, 94 westbound closed, a serious crash there. Riders will be taken off at Highway 18, which they can take to Highway F, then rejoin there, but expect extensive delays both directions till everything has been completely reopened. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny, 80 today, partly cloudy and 63 overnight. Warm and humid tomorrow with a slight chance of showers and storms at the evening. A high Saturday, 83. Warm, sunny, and humid on Sunday. A slight chance of a pop-up shower, high of 85. Sunny, warm, and humid Monday and Tuesday. Monday, 90. Tuesday's high, 86. 64 in Madison, 65 in Green Bay, and 65 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 9:33.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hey, checking in?
This is not just your flu shot appointment at Walgreens.
Yes.
Yep.
This is getting your entire family vaccinated in one trip.
Hey, Mom?
And a snack on the way out. Get flu shots for everyone in your family, together. Schedule appointments online today. This is wellness made easy. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability and for ages 3+. State and health-related restrictions may apply.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for J.D. Griffiths. It was more than a year ago that my wife and I decided we needed new garage doors. And now a year later from J.D. Griffiths, and they look brand new. Just gorgeous garage doors that enhance the look of the house. They pop. I tell you, they pop. J.D. Griffiths has been doing it for more than 70 years. And they're not just providing premier garage doors, they're also Milwaukee's detached garage builders. They do it all for you. And now J.D. Griffiths is offering you a deal. You can get $100 off a new garage door opener with the purchase of a brand new garage door from J.D. Griffiths. They'll come in, you'll get that free at-home estimate, and they'll take care of you. Here's what you do. Go to the website, jdgriffiths.com/WTMJ, or call 414-362-7222 and mention me, Eric Bilstead, and you will save some cash. Check out J.D. Griffiths and enhance the look of your home. Those garage doors, they pop. 414-362-7222, J.D. Griffiths. Spend some time talking politics on a Friday. That's what we do here. Political Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 9 to 10. Bill McCoshen joining us. Joseph Becky on assignment. He'll be back next week. A couple sort of interesting side stories, and I saw a little bit of conversation last night about this. And it's been sort of confirmed, but sort of not. So I just want to throw it at you. There's this idea that Donald Trump is going to host a he calls it an awards gala, apparently, on January 6th
at one of his golf clubs honoring what did he say? The January 6th defendants who have shown incredible courage and sacrifice. That's 5 days before the debate. To me, it sounds like a stupid idea, Bill. I mean, what's the point of this, really?
Has it been confirmed? That's what
I've seen it reported on various news sources, and there's been some commentary from the Trump campaign. So I don't know if that's what they want to call it, but that's how it's being characterized.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some more research on it. It doesn't make sense to me. But I know this week one of the more respected national journalists, Judy Woodruff from public television, reported that Trump was in conversation with Netanyahu trying to get him not to agree to a ceasefire, which turned out to be completely false.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of that.
Great reporters get that wrong, get big stuff wrong. Listen, I am cautiously optimistic based on the making up with Governor Brian Kemp and what might happen with RFK Jr. today, that Trump's campaign has got the message that they need to be serious and focus on issues that actually move voters our direction. And, so I'm hopeful that this is a false story, but we'll see how it shakes out.
One of the changes in the campaign was the addition of Corey Lewandowski recently last week. Chris LaCivita, Susie Wiles have been running what I think has been a pretty solid campaign. What does that add, if you think it's an ad, do to the campaign?
Well, I'm not sure that Lewandowski's in the cockpit. I still think it's Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles, and I may have some sources who are on the 6th floor down in Palm Beach that can verify that. So I would say Lewandowski. Listen, for the candidate, if you got guys around who you trust, that helps. And by guys, I'm generic. That could be ladies as well. Oftentimes candidates lose trust in their team during the course of a campaign, then they regain that trust. If Corey Lewandowski was the guy who helped get him more focused over the last week, then he was a great addition. If he can keep him more focused over the final 75 days, I'm all for it. And I don't care who gets the credit. To steal a line from Ronald Reagan, doesn't matter. If you get something done, it doesn't matter who gets the credit. And so if Lewandowski was the guy who helped tighten this thing down a little bit, I'm glad he's there.
Several texters have mentioned the fact that you talked a lot about policy in your opening remarks today. So for the Trump side of things, what is the policy declaration that makes the most sense from a campaign perspective? What should Donald Trump be talking about specifically when he does his rallies or media appearances?
Again, I don't think he should do rallies until the end of the campaign. Those are meant to fire up your base, much like a national convention. I think there's a lot of risk in these rallies between now and the end of October because Trump feels like he has to perform for an audience. They've come a long way. They've stood in lines for hours and hours and hours, so he feels like he has to talk an hour or 75 minutes. That's unnecessary at this point in time. Nothing he says should go longer than 30 minutes, and frankly, 20 minutes is going to be just fine from this point forward. This is about discipline. The most disciplined campaign is the one that's most likely to win over the next 75 days. But policy-wise, Steve, I think he started to do it yesterday. I mentioned this on the show last week. I like optics. He went to the border. He brought parents of kids that were murdered by illegal aliens or illegal immigrants, however you want to phrase it. And they spoke and said more needs to be done. And I think that was a powerful optical message. And that's the kind of thing he needs to do. He needs to go to manufacturing facilities. He needs to go to energy facilities and talk about his economic plan and how that's going to impact your family budget. When you're sitting around the kitchen table thinking about gas, groceries, rent, or mortgage, those are the things that Donald Trump needs to focus on, and you don't need rallies to do that. You can do that in businesses. You can do that in outdoor venues that make sense to amplify your message. I just think I think these rallies are high risk for him. I would discourage them until the very end, and then they're all about get out the vote.
You think he's going to listen?
No. He loves them, right? He loves them. Those are his people, but that's really my point. Nobody going to a Trump rally is undecided. Right? So he needs to get undecided, more than she does. So let's be strategic about this, and I think his message will work if he does it that way.
He is Bill McCoshen, awesome Republican strategist and smart guy. Joins us every Friday along with Joseph Pecky, who's on hiatus or on assignment this week. Whatever it is. All right, after the break, Political Junkie PowerPoint sponsored by Two Men in a Junk Truck. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. TwoMenInAJunkTruck.com right here on 620 WTMJ.
Buying a home should be a joy, but could you imagine doing this without a realtor? Paperwork, inspections, appraisals, deadlines, showings, market research? Or you could relax. Or understanding legal documents, negotiating offers, coordinating inspections, securing finance. Oh, sorry. A realtor can take the stress out of the home buying process. See how at wra.org/a-realtor-can. Brought to you by the Wisconsin Realtors Association.
Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for ADAIR. Adair Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street. Love talking about Adair because I was, again, a customer before I was a spokesperson. Been a customer for a long time, decades actually. Put my kitchen floor in 20-plus years ago. Still looks fantastic today. How do I know that? Owner Rob said, oh, my goodness, that thing. We put that in. Looks amazing. That could be your story. They've been in business for 65 years. They just put our new basement landing area floor in. The wood plank look looks awesome. Quick installation, too. Whether it's home or business, they are family-owned and operated right there in Franklin, South 27th Street, south of the Rawson Road exit on 94, north of Highway 100, or Ryan Road for the locals. Anything you need. Flooring, remodeling, they have a design team ready to help with all of that. Stop in, tell them Scaffidi sent you, or visit them online at Adair, ADAIR floors.com.
You're hearing it every day. Another political ad, another agenda. But no matter what happens in this election or the next, you still have the power to control your financial future. Elections can impact a lot of things, including the stock market, inflation, and taxes. And if you're thinking about retirement, I'd love to get you our Retirement Ready Toolkit to prepare you for the retirement you've always envisioned. Our team of advisors at Drake & Associates will show you how your savings might be affected and what you can do now to help prepare. Don't let this election or any election control your retirement future. Call or text PREPARE to 414-441-5451 to get your complimentary Retirement Ready Toolkit. That's PREPARE to 414-441-5451.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Finally, warmer weather, green grass, birds chirping. Don't spend your weekend surrounded by all that junk. Get your free, no obligation, same-day estimate from Two Men and a Junk Truck. You'll restore your sanity and reclaim your space when Two Men and a Junk Truck pulls in your driveway. Visit twomenandajuncktruck.com for your free, no obligation estimate today.
Keep what you love, ditch what you don't.
It's time for the Political Junkie PowerPoint, sponsored by Two Men in a Junk Truck. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. TwoMenInAJunkTruck.com. Here's Steve Scaffidi.
Oh, yeah. Happy to be with you on this Friday, along with Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist, friend of mine, friend of the show, and all-around smart guy. All right, smart guy, Bill McCoshen. What do you want to start with? What do you love or what do you want to ditch?
I'm going to start with love this week, and I'm going to give credit to our friend Kristen Bryce. She tweeted this first on Monday, and it's about Milwaukee. Milwaukee as a convention site really, really shined, and especially in comparison to Chicago. The Fiserv Forum is much, much nicer than the United Center. The amenities, particularly Panther Arena and the Baird Center, compared to what they had in Chicago, were far better in Milwaukee. So I think for the reporters who were at both locations from all around the world, I think they left thinking Milwaukee had it going on. Chicago, a little bit tired, a little bit old. So I'm keeping Milwaukee as a major convention destination.
Yeah, and I'll just pile on that one because part of the, even though it was Democrats in Chicago this week, the folks at Fiserv Forum, the Peter Fagans, and all the other people connected to that event Tuesday, they made it happen pretty quickly and put together a venue for 18,000 people. And I've talked to a bunch of people who were at the event and said it was absolutely madness in there. But if you're a Democrat, it was a fun event. You certainly got to see the ticket there, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. So I want to put my hats off and congratulations to sort of the entire community for understanding this isn't just about politics. This is about the ability to host big events. And for this summer, at least, we have done it on the prime time, big stage, better than anybody else. So I completely agree with what you said. All right, what do you want to get rid of and ditch?
I want to ditch 4-day national conventions. It's too much. I mean, both conventions had, more than 100 speakers. Most voters don't even have any idea who 2/3 of those speakers are. Let's focus on the vice president accepting on day one, the presidential nominee accepting on day two, and be done. Voters today, they consume their information very differently than you and I did 20 years ago, and it's all on their handheld device, and they do it in bites. 4 nights of a nonstop politics is too much. Let's go down to 2-day national conventions.
All right, I'm going to ditch the debates because I don't know that we're going to get anything significant. I know people can say, "Oh my goodness, you had a candidate change." Well, without the debates, that probably wouldn't have happened. But regardless of that, unless it's a format that's actually a debate, I'm sick and tired of these sort of staged sort of campaign rally speeches that the candidates make. If you really want to have a debate, they have to answer the questions that the moderator asks. One moderator, no audience, no clapping, none of that stuff, and make it an hour long, put it at 8 o'clock at night Central. That's what I want to see. Until you do that, ditch the debates. What do you think?
Well, I like the debates, but I like all of your criteria. I like no audience. I like 1 or 2 moderators max, and I like forcing the candidates to answer the question that was asked. I like all that.
What do you expect to see in the September 10th debate?
Well, I think it will be the most watched debate ever, and my hope is that it's as well managed as the CNN debate was. And frankly, I think Kristen Welker back in 2020 ran the best debate of the 2 that were between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So I'm hoping that moderators don't make themselves the show and they let the candidates do the talking.
Real quick, I'll throw this in as a ditch. I want to see the end of people taking shots at candidates' kids. There was a sort of an ugly incident with Ann Coulter on the son, Gus Walz, of the VP nominee and Governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz. No place for that. Doesn't have any place in politics or, frankly, the conversation. So I like to ditch that kind of nonsense. It's just stupidity.
Yeah. I retweeted a funny one about Walz yesterday, comparing him to Chris Farley, and when Chris Farley did a skit on Saturday Night Live with all kinds of body gestures. And hey, listen, some of the replies were like, "Oh my God, you people take politics too seriously." I'm in this business every day, and I don't take it that seriously. It's okay to laugh.
It is okay to laugh. All right, the Political Junkie PowerPoint, sponsored by 2 Men in a Junk Truck. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't. We told you ours. You could tell us yours on the WTMJ Talking Text line, 855-616-1620. 2 Men in a Junk Truck.com. After the break, grab bag.
Hot dog, get your hot dogs here. Hot and fresh hot dogs.
Hot diggity dog, it's baseball season. Wisconsin's Afternoon News has partnered up with Vienna Beef to bring you Brewers Ticket Tuesday.
Tune in every Tuesday during the 3 o'clock hour for your chance to win a pair of tickets for an upcoming Tuesday home game for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Nothing says summer like a hot dog in baseball, and we've got both on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
On the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. For Universal Windows Direct, football season is here. You know this. You can feel it in your bones. You know what else you can feel? The cold. Fall is around the corner. Cooler temperatures on the way. It's time to make sure your home is ready. Don't throw your heat out the window, those drafty windows. Same thing with AC. You don't want to cool the outside of your home. Don't struggle with any of this stuff. Now's the perfect time. The perfect time to upgrade with Universal Windows Direct before the cold weather hits. I'll go slow on this. 414-410-2000. 414-410-2000. Schedule your free in-home estimate today. Every 2 windows you buy, 2 free, 4. You get it? And if you need it, 0% financing for 60 months. If my math is correct, that's 5 years. All right. For the last windows you will ever need, go to uwd.com or call 414-410-2000. Call today. Don't wait. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Comfortable locations, comfortable people. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit frederick.com/cancer.
Between market volatility, inflation, global unrest, and the presidential election, there's a lot going on. Take control with help from Annex Wealth Management. Have a plan built that matches up with your investment and retirement goals. Annex does it as a fee-only fiduciary with unbiased advice. Annex offers financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Head to AnnexWealth.com, click the Get Started button. It's time to put things in order. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. AnnexWealth.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Little clarification. I talked earlier about this fundraiser for January 6th defendants. It will be held at Trump's golf club, Bill, but it's not a Trump campaign event. Trump is invited, but has said apparently that he does not plan to attend. So that's the latest on that January 6th fundraiser. All right.
Appreciate the update.
Yeah, no problem. Want to be accurate on the program. All right, Bill McCoshen joining us on Friday. Joe Zepecki will be back next Friday. A little something we do at the end of every show, grab bag. What's on your grab bag mind today?
So my Joyless Joe Friday grab bag is as follows. I did some work. This was my first DNC. I've never been to one before. I did some work for Wisconsin Public Television every day down there, and on Wednesday and Thursday also did work with NBC 15 in Madison. I had a bet with the folks from Public Television, an over-under of how many times I would be asked, what are you doing here? I was a little apprehensive about my first DNC, and I got to say the answer was 0. Not once. I couldn't have been treated nicer by everyone that I ran into. And I got to say, the Wisconsin media, Milwaukee media, Madison media, they had a lot of folks down there, and they covered this thing hard, just like they did at the RNC. So I think Wisconsin, again, came out on top. And I got to say, my counterparts on the other side treated me a lot better than I expected, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
So maybe we can soften that war on the legacy media argument that's been going around. Everybody wants to attack the local Journal Sentinel or the legacy media or the mainstream media. Maybe we can go soft on that for a little bit. Maybe it's about just getting it right from whatever perspective you come from in politics and just getting
Let's get it right.
Get
Absolutely.
it right. As my dad said, do the right thing. All right. I look forward to our next week conversation because Joe will be back. Bill, safe travels wherever you're going. Where are you on your way to? Anywhere fun this weekend?
Well, hopefully I'll see you at the Packer game. I was selected through some random drawing, one of the season ticket holders of the game. So I'm going to be on the field before the game.
How about that? Bill McCoshen on the field.
Dang.
And one thing, I'll talk to you about this next week, but notice how big and fast these guys are, because that's every time I'm on the field, I go, oh my goodness, they're huge. All right, have fun. Bill McCoshen will do it again next Friday. This has been the Political Power Hour right here on 620 WTMJ.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car's not one of them. That national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it. And they're right here to handle any issues.
But the car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adamm.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi. I'm excited about this. We announced it yesterday. Rose Gray joined me on my program. My next, third with Fox World Travel, WTMJ listener trip. Get this, Sicily and Malta. We call it the Sicily and Malta Mosaic. It's already up on the website, Fox World Travel. It is easy to find, but more importantly, you want to be on this trip. This is going to sell out. Trust me, we have so many people that have said, we want to go with you. It's almost 2 weeks. It is 2 weeks, but rather. And it's in the October of 2025. Sicily, all the history. Home of, oh, by the way, active and tallest volcano in Europe, Mount Etna. We're going to visit all the cool sites, the archaeological sites. Sicily and Malta Mosaic is what it's called. Fascinating island, great history. And Malta is, by the way, one of the smallest and friendliest countries in the world. Kathy and I would love to have you join us and Rose Gray on our next WTMJ listener trip. Get more information. Do not wait. Get your deposit in. Do not wait. Call today. 866-GO-FOX-GO. Make that reservation or go to foxworldtravel.com to find out all the details. Don't miss out on the early booking discount, which is significant. Do not wait. Sicily and Malta Mosaic. Call today.
Gorgeous new roofs, showstopper siding, or classic brick and stonework. How about modern windows and regal doors that'll make your chin hit the floor? To a lot of people, have them enjoy where they live. It makes them proud. But there's always one thing standing in the way. How do I make that happen? At Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, we have excellent financing options for most people in most situations. 12 months, no interest, no payments, and exceptional rates for long-term loans that will beat your bank with no additional fees or hidden costs. You can go to semperfiroofing.com to apply for your pre-approval today. We want to make any project affordable to almost any person, and we've gone out of our way to find partners that can help make it happen for you. This is Brad Younglith with Semperfi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semperfi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semperfi.
Ask about our finance options.
Protect mom's assets, protect your assets. Call Krause Estate Planning, estateplanningpeople.com.
The Brewers are ready to hit the ball right through Mount Davis.
Willie to right, center, and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Way gone for Willie Adames.
Assuming we don't break the Coliseum.